Okay, let's look at the managing application and device control policies. Lesson 7. So a number of objectives here. We need to look at the creating application and device control policies, defining the application control, modifying policy rules, and defining device control. Let's look at the application device control policies. So what can application device control do for us? Well, in the SEP client, we can control which applications are allowed to run and which devices are allowed to be attached to the client. We can set up the application device control policy and define these settings here. We need to create the new policy, we need to create the rule set, define the application rule set, select the processes to apply or exclude, and then define the device controls. Let's have a look at defining the application control first. So it's quite common to be able to control or need to control the applications that are running and what they're able to do. We can protect certain Windows system directories, for instance, and configuration files that are key to the client. You may want to protect the registry from being accessed or changed. And we can do all of this within the application control. So first of all, we create the policy, give it a name and enable it. And then we need to create the application control rule set. The application control will restrict which applications are permitted to do and access which system resources. And you set them up within these rules. So here we can add in the rule by selecting it at the bottom, Add, select the rule and then edit the settings. We can see the rule examples on the right-hand side. We have the block modifications to hosts file option there, and we can control the access to the hosts file. We can block the password reset tool. That would be a very good one to block, as that's a very powerful tool. So we've created the application control rule set. We can add in the rules, and we can enable these rules for particular processes. Notice in the central area here, we can enable the rule to apply this rule to the following processes, or do not apply this rule to the following processes. So you can set up exclusions within the application control rule set. So selecting the processes to apply or exclude. We need to match the process name, and you can add that in at the top. You can use wildcard matching and regular expressions. You could match processes running from specific drive types. You can also use the options to match with file fingerprinting, and we'll cover file fingerprinting a little bit later. So modifying the policy rules. We can add in the rule, and we can add a rule or a condition. And the condition could be to terminate process attempts, for instance. We then need to make sure the rules are in the correct order, so we need to select the access and the process options. We can see these from the options on the right. We then need to make sure the rule conditions are correct. Here we can see the actions to take when the particular rule is true. We could continue processing after all rules, we could allow access, block access, or terminate the process. And it's a good idea to enable logging and specifying the severity level. So here we're defining the rule condition actions for access. On the left-hand side, we can define what to do if a read attempt was made. Here we can continue processing other rules, or block, or allow, or terminate. And on the right-hand side, we can control the create, delete, or write attempt in the same way. And then we can change that rule order, if need be, by using the move up and move down. We can set the rule set mode, making sure that on the right-hand side, we set it to production if we wish it to be active, and test if we wish it to log only. So defining device control now. With the device control policy, we can control which devices can be accessed from the client. It may be this particular client is working in a very sensitive area and we wish to prevent any data from being removed from it. So we want to remove any removable devices, like printers or USB or DVD drives. And we clarify them by the class ID. So defining the device control here, we can set up which devices to block and which devices to exclude from blocking. You can log the detected devices as well and specify a notification for the user when devices are blocked. You can define the hardware devices. Here we've got the common generic class IDs listed here. But it may well be that you want to add in additional hardware devices that are very specific to you, maybe a specific USB type drive. And you'd need to collect the class ID for that to be able to add in to this list. To do that, you need to use the locating the device ID, or the devviewer.exe, which is found in the Tools No Support folder. And here we can find the class ID of the specific device you wish to add. And then we can add it in the hardware devices list. And then we can add that particular new device in our two sections, either blocked or exclusions. That brings us to the end of the application and device control policy lesson. We should have learnt how to create the policy and how to manage and edit the policy.